Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Rise and Grind. I'm 72 the Architect. Today we're going to talk about Fools Rush In Part 2. Yes, Part 2. And we're going to really dive deep and explore not just what fear has done to us like in the previous episode, but what we're going to do how to eliminate our fears and just get a grip of ourselves. So stay tuned here in just a minute. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Rise and Grind. And today's part 2 of Fools Rush In. And thank you for coming out, checking the show out if you're in live in studio. So right now I'm producing live on YouTube. What is it? Twitch, Twitter Spaces, and Facebook, I believe. So thank you for coming on out. I definitely appreciate it. So let's get into it, so to speak. So I read the Daily Stoic, and I felt this was really, really important especially for today. And what do they talk about today? Now, on page 341 of the Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, the page was titled Hope and Fear Are the Same. Now, the question of the day says, can I cease both hoping for and fearing certain outcomes? Now, Ryan uses Seneca's Moral Letters 5.7b through 8, says, Hector says, cease to hope and you will cease to fear. The primary cause of both these ills is that instead of adapting ourselves to the present circumstances, we send out the thoughts too far ahead. Now, Ryan goes on to explain the quote, and he says, hope is generally regarded as good. Fear is generally regarded as bad. The Stoics, like Hector, known as Hector of Rhodes, they are the same, both projections into the future about things we do not control. Both are the enemy of this present moment that you actually are in. Both mean you're living life in the opposition of amor fati. It's not about overcoming our fears, but understanding both hope and fear, certain a dangerous amount of want and worry in them. And sadly, the want is what causes the worry. Ooh. I really feel, honestly, that is a pack a punch for the Daily Stoic. And I really feel that it's important to understand what that really said. So in the last episode, I talked about how fear is really something that could really foil your whole life. If you live in fear, you may not have your needs met, may not meet the person you want, get the outcomes, the resources, the lifestyle, the home, all that stuff, right? But that was one part. Now the second part is, how do we get out of all that and how do we train our minds? And I definitely use books like the Daily Stoic, and I'll leave descriptions in the show about that. And I'm not going to lie, when you hear, like I've heard this week about, what was it, 11 to 12,000 people being laid off, allegedly by Facebook, 10,000 were laid off, are going to be laid off in Amazon. Another, I think it's a big layoff in Twitter. I don't know how many, the exact numbers, but those were serious thuds. And why are they so serious? Because where I live in Stockton, California, many of those people commute from here to there in the Silicon Valley. And when I've seen what has taken place because of fear, guess what? I also noticed gas prices started dropping. Why? Supposedly there's a surge of production of oil to help out with holiday shoppers. No one, I mean, the politicians of today, they don't want to face the heat if people don't have something to eat or gas to put in their car. So if they set gas to being over $5 this year, $6 in some places. It was $6 here a few weeks ago, I think 3, 4 weeks ago. So why does that matter according to this episode? Well, to keep people in control, give them morsels and crumbs is the thought, and acting like they actually have authority to choose how business is going to be run. They do on licenses and laws and statutes, but there's something else more sinister. They're also controlled. These people who are calling shots and who are calling out politics, they also, they right now, they understand if they don't attend to certain things. We just had midterm elections. People can vote to recall, allegedly. I don't know how much it's going to do in effect. But see, I can't wait for a politician to make a choice when there's a decision I can make a choice. I'm an influencer. I can talk to people. I can give people a perspective. Get a hold of yourself. So how does it relate? Now, when I read in the Daily Stoic and talked about fear, hope and fear are the same thing. They're projections. Like when I hope for something, I'm wanting an outcome so that my life will be easier to deal with, so that I can move on, go farther ahead, and not be in concern or worry. But every single time I was in hope, I did have fear at the same time. Crossed my fingers, whatever, did that stuff, prayed, rubbed my, what is it, my lucky rabbit's foot, shake the magic 8 ball, consorted the cards, looked at the stars. Please just come my way. I can't tell you how many times I hope for winning lottery numbers. And just recently, they had like someone who won the Powerball and is now probably a multimillionaire, if not billionaire, right now. And what was interesting about even that, me and my girl were talking, we were kind of discussing how if we won, if we won the lottery, how would we be changed? We didn't talk if, we didn't say what would be the thought, maybe, should we, could we, and be what is going to change once we win. And that was a very, very pinnacle moment, you know. And my girl said it. She's all, yes, we definitely would change. It would definitely change the perspective. It would definitely change about how we look at life, how we look at, you know, we're not setting all that great, but we're not setting all that bad either. We're living, we have a roof over our heads. We love each other. We're working through our difficulties. So we got a good grip. And so when I look at those things, those are the essentials, because we'd have conversations before. Now, how does it relate to hope? We took in consideration, once we win, how we'll act and what the kind of discipline it will take. And she said it, we would probably have to seek an advisor of some sort to help guide us and not just blow our money. And I would probably share it definitely with our families. I definitely would share some with my community. But one thing I would not take away from myself is my life's journey's work. Yeah, I'd probably invest into a podcasting team and, you know, making this hobby into a profession full time, but I'm doing what I can. But my other profession, I like working within the law. It's a part of who I am. And I'm not looking to be the expert. I just enjoy it. I enjoy reading. I enjoy writing. I like looking at arguments and debates in a certain perspective according to some rules. But that's the thing. What feeds our worry, we never consider about the rules we have to abide by. That's usually an after effect. The rules we abide by will dictate quite a few things. If you don't follow the rules, you could get hurt. If you don't follow the rules, you could be arrested, be in prison. You can have everything that you have taken away from you if you don't follow the rules. But what I start to think about is maybe they've made so many rules that people feel choked up and they just don't care. And so hope is kind of like quarter in the wishing well, hoping that, things are going to turn around because behind that hope is the worry. And if I'm not doing it right, if I'm not living the right way and under the right guidance, morality, religion, faith, God, if I don't live under the right things and the right fellowship and the followingship, what do I have? What guarantees? And that's the fallacy and that's the illusion. So what can we do, Jason? You might be asking. What are we going to do? Well, great question. You're going to live your life. That's right. You're going to live your life. So whether you're winning a lottery or not, or you're just earning paychecks, we've moved to, I grew up in an era where a paycheck for a family was a big deal. Now it takes two paychecks or more or revenue streams. I mean, I've heard the influencers all talk about having 7 healthy avenues of 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 income, own rental properties, own some small businesses, but all of them come with heavy responsibilities and it's not so easy. I have met more realtors, brokers, project managers, alleged real estate developers, less and having less than a college education. Not saying that a college education is required, but I know once you start owning a business, you also got to play by a whole new set of rules and responsibilities. Now you got to worry about, when you employ people, you got to go look out for your clients. You're not expecting, um, you don't know when your customer's going to come and pay. You got to market, you got to do all kinds of things, jumping through hoops like you're the circus performer. Imagine owning a circus. How many rings do you own? And if it's 7 revenue strings, which ring? You're the ringmaster. Sometimes are you going to take the place of being the tiger jumping through the hoop of fire? Riding or being the horse while someone rides you? I don't know. But see, this is where I really enjoy something that I've really come in close accustomed to relying on, and that's faith. I've been through a lot of tough times before. I've grown up through the 70s, the 80s, 90s. I've seen what real, poverty, but like I was talking last episode, I've never seen poverty in a mass scale where people are camping on the side of the freeways and open fields, indiscriminately. I've never seen that, not to the scale that it is today. But the more that I pay attention to that fear that I could end up in that place, guess what? I'm drawn to it. The magnetism goes instead of being, let's focus on things that I can do, sharpening my skills, taking care of my appearance, taking care of my health, all these great things. When I am purposely focusing exactly on what I can do, taking what I already know, I'm 50, a lot of life experience. I've met a lot of people. I've seen a lot of dynamic situations. All that's banked experience. People don't want to hear about what I think. They want to know what I know. And what can I prove, right? What can these hands do? I've learned how to work with these hands and the mind. And it's been very, very important. So taking accountability, working in discipline, tuning out the noise. Like I said before, like they're talking about, like in the news, about 2 rockets landing in Poland in a farm, killing 2 people. And people are saying, should we go act? We're a part of NATO. Poland's a part of NATO. I don't know. I don't want to go pick another fight. I don't want to be in a world war, honestly. And I don't want my kids to be a part of that. It's time to take some reservation. So here's the second part of what you can do and positivity. Believe it or not, no is a decision, yes is an obligation. Thanks, James Clear. Appreciate you for saying that. When I say no more often, I reserve a decision not to go forward or be obligated to anyone else. When I say yes, I have made a series of obligations and agreements. I hold in my peace more for myself and the people I'm responsible for. So, what are the core values and people that I really take in pride and pleasure? Myself, that means my body, my mind, my spirit, and my intelligence, my mindset. If I'm listening to people talk in chaos and argue and yell, am I in the right place? Absolutely not. Sometimes I'm going to have to be. But if it's an option I have to choose that I'm choosing and take accountability, all decisions, all results are related to a decision you made. You made a contribution, you made an agreement, you chose to go in those spaces. If I go in there, I'm responsible for how much attention I'm going to pay to the screaming, yelling fools. Yes. And I said fools. But if I take responsibility and listen to what they say and not let anything, their vibration get to me, and I have to be a very strong individual. That's the second part. Train your strength and resilience in who you are and what you do and how you're around. I train that. Guess what? You're not going to get to me so easily. I take in consideration, but I just leave it aside. So that's very important. And when I train my resilience, I also can train my discipline for peace and good ties. Next week is Thanksgiving for a lot of us here in the United States, and abroad. And allegedly, it's a time to have gratitude, to give thanks for the family and the people at our table. But I've seen at those tables, people get chaotic and messy because of the things they had in the past, and they hold like in a negative bank mindset. You ever see those relatives that just like all they do every time they come around, it's always an argument, it's always a displeasure, it's always something that because they didn't adjust their mindset before they came into the event. They just thought because we're family, we'll have to get along. No, you don't. So understand as you approach the holiday next week, I want you to think about a couple things. Look at those faces. They're not going to be permanent. They're not going to be here always. When you enjoy, if you think about something that's going to be argumentative or sensitive in nature to trigger you to cause a response, I say hold your tongue. Don't let a complaint or gossip leave your mouth. And that's something that I have to work at every day because I have a lot of complaints inside. I do. I'm not above all that, but I'm working through therapy, through guidance, persistence, mindset training. Like, hey, the discipline is what are my core essentials part of my day? My family, my body, my mind, my spirit. Those are my essentials. Then it comes to, yes, my obligations. I have said I've made agreements this week. I will not let my agreements get out of hand. I will have boundaries within my agreements, and not all of them are permanent and not all of them keep going. Time and destination sometimes come into play. That's okay. So taking care, not being a fool and rushing into every engagement, every argument, every political genre or debate. Be mindful of what you listen to. They keep talking about show me the top 5 people you hang out with, and I'll show you who you are. A lot of them don't realize that came from a great a philosopher in the past. Ryan Holiday talks about it all the time. Look it up where it comes from. But see, there's more to it than just hanging around. It's your attention span. You could be around the most positive people, possible, but you could be the one piece of poison in that group and you will be segregated. You'll be set aside and treated in a way that you may not like. So you're going to have to elevate your actions with the company that you keep, or if on the reverse, lower your actions and choices to keep company with people who don't belong with you. This is the very critical part about discernment and judgment about people. Consider them, but do not react to them always. Take a moment, take some more time to saying no in your mind. But no without a follow-up reaction is strength, believe it or not. That's another big part of all this. You can take the time, like I'm now putting into my regiment along with my exercise every day to start purposely breathing on a consistent basis. Meditation is now implemented into my life, my daily life. My anxiety, my diabetes are all affected by these practices, these disciplines to put me right back into perspective. And you can do that too. People have warned, be mindful of your mindset, your idle hands, your idle thoughts. If you're not doing something that's interesting, you get bored, right? Be mindful of that. Sometimes some things just it's not fun. When I had a process serve somebody, I had to serve somebody a subpoena the other day, and their reaction was, I can't wait till I go home. And it was only like 12 o'clock. I'm tired. I said, oh, so what are you going to do home? Go to sleep. And then what? They didn't have a reaction because they're at their job. And I said, okay, well, I could plant a seed of thoughtfulness. I'm going to make up a name. The security guard, I don't know her name, but I'll just call her Lois. So I said to Lois, I said, hey, I want to plant a seed of prosperity in you. And she said, what's that? And I said, I hope you really have a really good day for the rest of today and a good evening. And I hope after you take your nap, whenever you get home, that you really attend to something really great in your home. And it is my strongest wish and consideration that in all this time for today, you're going to smile and enjoy yourself. I said that purposefully. And she looked up at me and she took her mask, she found, and she goes, thank you. And her whole spirit, within a few moments, lifted up. It expanded. It opened up. It wasn't hope that I was giving to her. It was like, hey, I feel pressure in life, but you know what? I'm giving you and lending you some of my strength to wishing you well. Not hoping. And my wish was conveyance of goodness. That was what a wish to me was at the moment. So encouraging other people. People may be being laid off. People may be losing their jobs. It doesn't mean you need to lose your mindset. You don't need to resort to Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. The U.S. is going to go to war with NATO. No. The politicians are not going to make. Trump is announcing his candidacy for presidency. We can't let the evil Dark Lord get back into the empire. No. We don't need all that. There is not a Messiah in any politician, I'll tell you that much. But there is a level of a Messiah, God, or the higher being in all of us. And I'm probably going to be tested to this. I don't know how. I don't want to think about the outcomes of possibility. But what I will say is that I'm purposely working at my internal strength no matter what happens to me or for me. A lot of things happened in 2022. I prayed. I asked, can you help me, God? Can you? Of course you can. Or she, whatever, non-binary. But the help didn't come the way that I thought because I didn't think it out. A series of hard events came this year. I've had to humble myself in so many different ways. I've had to learn how to resonate and tell the truth constantly, even in situations where I don't want to give a response. And I walked away from fear. I stopped being a fool. I stopped being a part of the sheep. You know what I'm saying? And that was very important. And I started picking people that I want to work with. I've got a series of interviews coming up, and you all hear about it for Rise and Grind coming real soon. Yes, that's what's coming up on the next season. I'm going to be constantly doing interviews with regular people, and I might have some famous people who are doing it, making a non-negotiable to get up. I was listening to a colleague and friend of mine, and she was talking, and she's on the Today Show, as a like one of the guest speakers that comes on every so often, guest co-hosts. And she was saying that as she went through cancer, she had to pivot a lot of different things in her mindset. And she started talking herself out of prosperity and like the laws of attraction. What you say is what will happen, but also what you ask for may be coming your way. It may be on delay. So understand what you're asking of life. Understand that what you want out of life, is it out of fear to fill in the hole? Or do you want to be on the momentum to being off that rough road onto the road that you do need to be on and prosper and help others? So, as I wrap up Fools Rush In, I want you to think about your daily actions, your engagements, your conversations. If they're not ones that you'd like to be on, ask yourself, do I need to be in this conversation, or can I politely excuse myself out, or not at all? But sometimes we're going to have that. Just remember, we can't just discriminate and have people not be there, you know. And one of the things you'll see, this shirt, this is one of my favorite shirts. Let's see. Feeling lucky. Now, I bought this at Target years ago. But you know what? One of the reasons why I wear it, I wear it because it reminds me that I am lucky. I am lucky to be alive. I'm lucky uh, in so many different ways, and I can't even explain it to you. And when I feel down, I wear this shirt and I wear green because it lightens my mood. Makes me feel better. I didn't wake up feeling bad today, but I wanted to wear my lucky shirt. I wanted to add to my momentum. My momentum from where I start, I got up in joy. I got up automatically, no alarm, no nothing. I got up 4, 5 in the morning. I didn't go, ugh, oh God, I hate this. It's so cold. Nope. Warmed up my hot water, got my mud water going, drink it, read the Daily Stoic, took a few breaths, put up a little bit of art so I can make this episode. Here I am. So my final thoughts of today is, regardless of what's happening, good or bad, train your mindset all the same. Train it against the fear. Train it against the hope. You need more than hope. You need to put actions for results. And it may be difficult, may seem painful, but in the end, you'll be better. And I can speak that because there were a lot of holes in my heart this year. And now that I'm fulfilling them, mending them, and healing by doing other things, my life is getting better and better. My perspective is getting better and better. My podcasting is getting better and better. I'm associating with people better and better every day. So do that. All right, everybody. We'll see you all next time on Rise and Grind next Monday. I may have a show this Saturday, but my guest is not confirmed exactly. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So we'll see y'all next time on Rise and Grind. Y'all take care.